Oh, that's where that went. I should really upload this. No! Not you too! Another tragic loss to a life of nip and hookers. You were supposed to just say no. You were supposed to just say no. Oh, you were just sleeping. So I'm going to need another script. I'm thinking... Excuse me, are you even listening? Anyway, I'm thinking we do another cinephile, but this time we're going to change up the formula. What? I can't even show that on YouTube. No, I'm going to do it as a talking head thing. Yeah, I know I started that with the last episode, but I wrote this skit before I decided to do Dune first. Don't worry about it. Continuity is an illusion. And what do you care? You're not the one editing it. Are you going to get me a script or not? Great, let's do it. Percy, roll the intro. Hey there, I'm Carmilla. I'm a cinephile, and I've always been a cinephile. When I was growing up, movies were the things that got me through life. They were the art I consumed. I didn't become a reader until middle school, and didn't discover the wider world of music until about the same time. So before then, it was the movies I escaped into, and boy did I consume a lot of them. I say that like I somehow started consuming less movies after the age of 13, which is absolutely ridiculous. But that's not important. Moving on. The two movies that spoke to me most are Mad Max and The Terminator. Sure, the sequels to both films were cultural watersheds and cinematic masterpieces that changed the landscape of cinema, but there was something about those gritty, low-budget originals that really moved me, which is what art is all about. My insatiable appetite for cinema has led me in search of movies that remind me of those two, and it's those discoveries I want to explore here. I want to find out what about those films spoke to me and why they still do, and what, if anything, they have to say today. So, let's see what's on the reel today. Oh yeah, the movie I picked up because the box art looks so much like Mad Max. R.O.T.O.R, released in some markets as Blue Steel, not to be confused with Blue Steel, the 1990 film by Kathryn Bigelow, is a 1987 film directed by Colin Blaine, an animator and storyboard artist whose directing filmography is otherwise exclusively cartoons. Written by Bud Lewis, who is also mostly a storyboard artist, based on a story by Colin Blaine, who is also known for directing this movie. Starring Richard Gueswin, Margaret Trigg, Carol Baker, and the voice of Lauren Bivens.
You fire me and I'll make more noise than two skeletons making love in a tin coffin, brother.
With a special third act appearance by James Smith. I don't have anything fun to say about the actors because none of them have been in anything else of note. Well, James Smith's only other acting credit is a film from 1990 called Flesh Gordon Meets the Cosmic Cheerleaders. I'll let you draw from that what you will. R.O.T.O.R is, at its heart, a film about police overreach and the importance of morality and oversight in law enforcement. It's a warning about graft and unchecked hubris, a lesson we need in today's environment of police militarization and brutality. Richard Gueswin and the voice of Lauren Bivens play Barrett Cold Iron.
Good fake name, yeah?
A Dallas police officer who is the captain of Tactical Operations Research, a robotics lab. Cold Iron has a dream of developing a line of robotic police officers for a future world of violence and mayhem, and his prototype is the titular R.O.T.O.R, Robotic Officer Tactical Operations Research. Unfortunately, the politicians who secured funding for the project have been skimming funds. One of them calls Cold Iron and demands the project be ready to launch in 60 days, or he's going to blame the misappropriation of funds on Cold Iron. With the absolutely unrealistic demands placed on the project, Cold Iron quits, leaving the project to his assistant and the department's sassy robot.
I think we're positively crazy for even trying this.
It's not long before an accident at the lab prematurely activates R.O.T.O.R, and it leaves to follow its programming, to judge and execute. So R.O.T.O.R heads out on his specialized motorcycle in search of criminals. This is the point. 45 minutes into a 90-minute movie, we're introduced to the other main character of the film, Sony. Sony is mid-argument with her boyfriend slash fiance slash maybe they're gonna break up, which really is fine because he's no good for her and she deserves so much better because seriously, he's already showing a bunch of narcissistic control and abuse signs, when he gets angry and starts speeding. It's then they're pulled over by R.O.T.O.R and he is promptly shot in the face. And he wasn't even black. That's how you know this cop is crazy. From here on out, the movie turns into a robot chase film, reminiscent of Terminator or the third act of Westworld, only, not exciting. Sony tries to stay ahead of R.O.T.O.R, while Cold Iron tries to catch up to them. Cold Iron enlists the help of Dr. Corin Steele, who invented R.O.T.O.R's chassis and just so happens to be a badass warrior babe with skunk hair. I'm not sure if the skunk hair helps, but I'm going to assume it does. They all converge for a final climactic showdown where R.O.T.O.R is destroyed, and we're back where we started. But the movie isn't over yet. Now that Cold Iron has spilled the whole story to police investigators, he's a liability. He's gunned down in the parking lot by Bugler. Remember him? The villain from the beginning of the second act? And then, it's fade to black.
Justice served. C.O.D.
Oh, hey dude. Yeah, it's coming... What? Don't worry about it. Continuity's an illusion. Hey, at least I wore the same shirt, okay? So are you gonna do the skit or not? Good. Oh, hey dude. Yeah, it's coming along pretty well so far. What? You realize this movie isn't Mad Max, right? It's just the box art that looks the same? No, it's completely different. It's more like Terminator meets RoboCop. I don't know why they plagiarized the box art. Probably because Terminator was more recognizable. Wait, how did you write an entire script and not realize it wasn't Mad Max? You've seen Mad Max. Oh, you made your brother do all the work and then you put your name on it. Yeah, that tracks. Oh, also, later on, I'm going to be trying something new with my makeup, and it's going to look terrible on camera, so don't worry about it, because I will never be doing it again. We'll get back to R.O.T.O.R in a minute, but I got to show you all this video. This is the cassette that I had at the beginning. I'll hold it up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'll put in an insert in case you can't see it very well. The cover is, what the fuck am I stepping on? I stepped on my mark. I used a dog toy as the mark. I shouldn't have. The cover is a dove, and not, as you may have first assumed, an albino vagina. So the video is called Her Life After Death. It's apparently this company, Focus Videos, There's even a URL on the back, focusvideos.com, but it's a dead site. But the point of the general focus of this company seems to be telling life after death stories and just doing interviews with people. This one is an interview with a woman named Sandra Abrams. I'm not saying that this is on YouTube, but I am saying it has over 100,000 views and is a combination of crazy and boring. But here's the thing that I wanted to show you. On the back, there are advertisements for 4 other things. Of course, this is her life after death. There was another one by Sandra Abrams called Her Return to Life. We've also got author Michael Brown gives insights into the afterlife by citing actual accounts of people who have died and come back to talk about it in Beyond Our Realm. Then over here we've got a gentleman by the name of Howard Storm, who apparently was an atheist until he died and went to hell. He came back and now he's a minister. It's called His Descent into Hell. The other one, though, here's the winner. Ned Daughtry was only concerned about money and power until he died and saw his life review in From the Hamptons to Heaven. Aren't you glad you waited for that? Alright, let's get back to R.O.T.O.R.
R.O.T.O.R is a morality play on 2 fronts. First, we have the dangers of unchecked graft and ambition. What happens when oversight and regulation is left unchecked? Bugler took the hard work of cold iron and steel and used it to enrich himself. When it came time to make good on the money he'd been stealing, he shifts the blame and blackmails cold iron. Too often we see politicians and CEOs funneling money away from the work of others into their own accounts. Recently, they haven't even bothered to try to hide it. Elon Musk! Sorry, I had some capitalism stuck in my throat.
Come on, baby, eat the rich, but then buy it of the son of a bitch.
Much in the same way, Bugler is so confident in his safety, he brazenly guns down cold iron in broad daylight in the parking lot of the police station. This serves as a prime example of why we need to remain vigilant and conscious of the crimes committed by the elite, lest they grow more extreme and more brazen.
I am R.O.T.O.R. You are guilty.
The theme the film really leans into, however, is police oversight, militarization, and brutality. It does so by addressing a lack of humanity in policing by making the antagonist literally an emotionless machine. Given that we now live in a post-BLM world, we really see firsthand how dehumanized the nation's police have really become. The police have become an extension of the military-industrial complex with no consequences for the people involved. Cold Iron goes on a rant about how wrong he was to play into this. How much about what they made was wrong. He argues for more compassion, more outreach, more humanity, which is the entire point of the defund the police movement. It's no surprise that when you take people, train them to kill, and then give them weapons of war, people die. People who need compassion, not brutality.
God save us all.
Now, I know what you're thinking. R.O.T.O.R isn't a parable. It's an exercise in terrible filmmaking. And you're not wrong. Cold Iron is the only character with a dubbed voice, and the ADR is something else.
Man was 39 years old before he discovered gravy wasn't a beverage.
The acting is stiff and robotic, even from the humans in the film. The plot structure is inept, and the cinematography is laughable to say the least. R.O.T.O.R even got the riff tracks treatment and appeared on an episode of Best of the Worst.
R.O.T.O.R is the best movie that's ever been made by anyone.
It's the defining.
It's still generally not well known among aficionados of bad movies, which is too bad because it absolutely is one of those kinds of movies and should be watched as such. In all this ineptitude, however, the movie doesn't shy away from the philosophical points it's trying to make. It doesn't do a good job explaining them, but its heart is there. These are lessons we all need to hear. We need to maintain our compassion and our heart. We need to put the guns aside and try to actually help people. The guns especially need to be taken away from the cops. Well, that's another episode in the can. I hear you already have the next episode script for me. Hope you actually did the work this time. Oh, what the hell, man? This is just a bunch of blank pages. Oh, there's something at the end? Oh, that's real mature. Oh, there's more? Okay, I mean, that's fair. Well, give me a script for that Shaft one, and we'll make it happen. You're doing the end card bit this time, though.